Hi, this is Kelly from the Quilted Windmill. Welcome to Everything Cuddle. We're going to be doing a five-part series where we are going to be covering working with Cuddle, techniques for working with Cuddle, and most of all, projects that you can do with Cuddle. So we get the comments all the time, oh, I love Cuddle, but oh, I'm scared to work with it. So we hope to get you over that fear. So as a woodworker would say, the right tools make the difference. So that's no different in sewing, and especially with Cuddle. So I'm going to show you some of the tools that make Cuddle a success. So first of all, it's important that you use a 90-14 stretch needle. That's going to help you pierce through those fabrics well without skipping stitches. So that is highly recommended. Next would be the polyester thread. I would use a quality polyester thread. Gutermann or Mettler work great. And the reason that you want to use polyester over cotton is that all the fabrics are polyester in Cuddle, and it keeps you from breaking, and it's just a little stronger. So that would be the reason for using that. My favorite pins to use are the Clover flower head pins, and I use the medium weight. Those work just great. Any long pin will work, but I get along really super great with these. And as I'm doing the projects, you will see sometimes I use other pins too, because sometimes you just plain run out. But having a lot of the Clover medium weight flower head pins really helps, because one of the essential things in working with Cuddle is to pin a lot. And some might say excessively, but that just really makes the project go a lot easier. The next thing I would say that I use a lot is the 505 adhesive spray. That helps to hold things in place, works really great when you're doing the strip quilts or when you're layering cotton and Cuddle to quilt. Just a really great tool as well. Next would be the clips. Both mini and jumbo have their place in working with Cuddle. Those can be helpful as well. You will find that a lot of videos and information on the internet will tell you you can use a crafting knife when cutting Cuddle, and that's true. That works. I typically just use my rotary cutter. I'm kind of lazy that way. I'm used to my rotary cutter, and I just use it. If you use a crafting knife, that can help reduce the dust, and I think that that's the major reason for that. The rotary cutter is going to cut through the nap more and leave you more dust. So we're going to talk about dust here in a little bit as well. Another major thing to use when working with Cuddle is your walking foot. And Elena, if you can just zoom in here so people can see. I can take it off too. That would be helpful so that folks can see what a walking foot is. What a walking foot does is it goes over your needle bar, and this little piece here goes over your needle bar, and as you can see, it walks that foot. So that's a walking foot. It's typically, if you're not familiar with it, it's typically an additional purchase. Some newer machines will have what they call dual feed that does the same thing, and it would come with the machine. But most of the time, you're going to see that it's an additional purchase beyond your machine and the basic foots it comes with. So highly recommended in dealing with Cuddle, and I actually leave mine on quite a lot doing regular sewing as well. So it's a great purchase if you have to purchase that separately. When you're sewing with Cuddle, there's a few other things to keep in mind. We use a 1/2-inch seam. That's different than our typical 1/4-inch seam that we do in cotton quilting, and that keeps it from it's just easier to deal with when you do a 1/2-inch seam. It doesn't roll as much on you, and just makes things go a little smoother. The other thing beyond the walking foot would be to pin a lot. And as we work through the projects, you are going to see that I'm going to be showing you my method is a perpendicular and parallel pinning. And you'll see what I mean by that in some future projects. But getting yourself stocked up on pins is important when you are working with Cuddle. Um, let's see, that would be, oh, the other thing I want to tell you is be sure to slow down a little bit. Feeding Cuddle through will go fairly smoothly if you've pinned a lot, you're using your walking foot. Oh, the other very important thing I want to tell you is to lengthen your stitch to 3.5 at least. Experiment a little bit with your machine, but 3.5 is going to also help it feed through more evenly and better. So if you ever have trouble getting it to feed through, just keep lengthening that stitch until it's feeding through a little better. So I use 3.5. That seems to work pretty well for me. And the last point being to slow down. Don't try to speed through it. Slowing down and letting it feed through and giving yourself time to help it work through will make you very successful. So that is those are the major points of success in dealing with Cuddle. The other complaint that we often get here is, oh, it makes such a mess. And yes, the deeper the nap on it, the more mess it will make. The lower nap, what they call Cuddle 3 products, are going to make a less of a mess when you cut them. Some of the tricks that we have found to be very effective in dealing with Cuddle is once you have run your rotary cutter across it and cut it, just grab a dustbuster or a hand vac, go along the cut line and get that picked up before you even move it, because once you move it, then it starts to fly, right? So do that first. It's not going to completely eliminate it, but it certainly helps. Here in the store, we do a lot of cutting of Cuddle and use this quite extensively. If you're at home and you have the luxury of just picking your pieces up and going outside and shaking them, I have found that to be super effective. And when the weather's nice, I've been known to actually cut outside on my patio table. So whatever works for you, but some of those things can really help to reduce it. If you're not going to be able to take it outside, another thing you can do is just pick the pieces up once you've cut them and throw them in the dryer with a wet towel or a wet rag, and that really does eliminate it as well before you sit down at your machine and start dealing with them. Because I think that's when it gets the most frustrating, is when you start to sew with them and it's flying all over your machine and you and everything. So just eliminating that from the cutting process to the sewing process. In between there, eliminating the dust by either vacuuming it or throwing it in the dryer or just shaking it outside. You can really help yourself with that. There is just a plethora of ideas of what to do with Cuddle. And I'm going to start showing you a few things so that your creativity can start kicking in and you can get excited with us. So one of our favorite projects is just to put two pieces of Cuddle together. And we're going to be working through this project in one of our videos. And you'll see that you can choose either two Luxe Cuddle, we'll get really close here, 2 Luxe Cuddle pieces, or you can do a print, which is maybe a lower loft piece combined with a more Luxe Cuddle. This can be done, this one that you're seeing here is just a small one for a baby, but it can be done for any size. It can, you know, adult, teenager, whatever size that you would like to do. One of the traditional ideas is the strip quilt that the Shannon Fabrics Company kits up, and you can purchase as a kit. You can come up with your own as well. That is done in a stitch and flip method, and we aren't going to be doing a video on that one because it has been around. The idea has been around a long time, but just remember that is always an option. You can put it on the back of a cotton quilt. We're going to be showing you that example as well. It can be used in apparel. It can be used in scarves. It can be used in pillowcases. We're going to be doing a pillowcase as well. So if you can think of it, it can be done. So let's go on this journey together and be creative, and most of all, have fun making this world a softer place. See you soon.